Side Quest. We're the leadership coach for your mind. Our goal is to bring on amazing people who can help you trigger your success. And if you're looking to go from here to there, there's no better guest than the man joining us today. He may have been born in a small town in Kentucky called Stationville, but his position as the #1 leadership thinker in the world has taken him all over the globe. He's racked up over 12.5 million air miles on American Airlines alone. That's insane. Consulting with over 150 of the largest and most well-respected companies on the planet, including Ford, Pfizer, Walmart, and the US military. That gives him an incredibly broad perspective, and it imbues his books, talks, and videos with this super rare level of nuanced understanding of the forces that actually drive human behavior. His insights and, dare I say, sage advice apply not only to business, but to relationships and life in general. And listening to him speak, you cannot help but hear yourself in his cautionary tales and immediately recognize how his laser-targeted advice could be instantly applied to great effect in your own life. He's a multiple-time New York Times best-selling author who has written or edited 35 books, which have sold more than 2 million copies and been translated into 30 languages. He has a degree in mathematics, an MBA, and a PhD. He's a former college professor and dean, and his global professional acknowledgments are so lengthy they need to be broken into chapter and verse just to cover them all. To say that this man has sterling credentials would be a grotesque understatement. But the thing that draws me to him most, honestly, the reason I'm most excited to have him on the show today is that his work focuses so doggedly on the one thing we can all control, our own behavior. And the titles of his 3 most recent books really illustrate that point. What Got You Here Won't Get You There, Mojo, How to Get It, How to Keep It, and How to Get It Back If You Lose It, and Triggers, Creating Behavior That Lasts, Becoming the Person You Want to Be. Now, come on. If you don't trip over yourself to read books with titles like that, you just cannot be helped. So please help me in welcoming the man Business Week named as one of the top 50 greatest leaders in America, the Wall Street Journal called one of the top 10 executive educators, and the Harvard Business Review called the #1 leadership thinker, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. Honored to have you, that's for sure. I've seen you speak live, as I was telling you before the show, and I've got to say, truly an incredible experience that lives up to, dare I say, surpasses the books, only because you get to see your real personality, and you're super lively, and you're super upbeat, high energy, which makes the message all that much easier to see. Your recent work, and correct me if I'm wrong, but seems to sort of encapsulate the world into 3 categories. So you've got the work of looking inward at yourself, you've got the work of looking outward at your interpersonal relationships, and then now with Triggers touching on the environment.
Right.
What's the reward that awaits people who master all 3?
Well, my mission is to help people become the person they want to be, not to tell someone who you want to become. My basic theory in life is, as we journey through life, if I interview almost anybody and say, who's the you want to be, we hear these wonderful stories. Nice person, hardworking, perfect physical condition, yada, yada, yada. There's often a big detour between this fantasy person I want to be and the person that shows up every day.
Yeah.
So I talk about what goes wrong on our little journey, and hopefully some ideas to help people get a little closer to being the person they want to be. If you look at the people I coach, I can't make them do what they don't want to do. What am I supposed to do? Shoot them, beat them up, kill them? Can't make them do what they don't want to do.
You've tried them all.
I can't do that, right? But I can help them do what they do want to do. So that's it.
That's interesting. And in your work, I know you talk a lot about selection, which is something that I really want to talk about. So I've heard it said in marriage, and I totally agree with this, and my wife is here somewhere, that the most important decision that you make in your marriage is the person that you choose. You've said that's true of your consulting work.
Oh, yeah.
To what extent, how is that true in the workforce? And what do you do when you feel like your boss may have chosen a coworker for you who's a poor choice?
Well, you got me about 3 questions there, so I'm going to kind of take them one at a time.
Perfect.
The first one is, how did I learn about this? In my job as an executive coach, I have a very unique billing system. I don't get paid if my clients don't get better. Better's not judged by me or them, it's judged by everyone around them. So there's a great way to test if someone believes what they're saying. You can ask a person one question and instantly determine their level of belief. I've never seen the question fail. What's the question? Want to bet on it?
No, not against you.
Well, if somebody says, I don't want to bet on it, they don't believe it that much. They say, I want to bet on it, they believe it. Well, I bet on this every time. When you get paid for results, you learn humility. The client I coach, I spent the most amount of time with, didn't improve at all, and I didn't get paid. The client I coach, I spent the least amount of time with, improved more than anyone I've ever coached. 200 people got better, and I did get paid. Humbling lesson. Now back to your second point. What do you do when somebody gives you in this situation that's not really the situation you wanted to be in? Your boss perhaps imposes this. Very good question. This is something I learned from the wonderful Peter Drucker, world's greatest authority on management. I was on his board 10 years, and he taught me this lesson. He said, our mission in life is to make a positive difference, not to prove how smart we are, not to prove how right we are. And then he said, every decision in the world is made by the person who has the power to make the decision. Make peace with that. Make peace. Not the best person or the smartest person or the right person or a good person. That person. If we need to influence that person and they're the decision maker, one word to describe that person. Customer. One word to describe you, salesperson. They don't have to buy. We have to sell. And if you're the customer and you're the boss, I got to sell. And the other great lesson, sell what you can sell. If you can sell it, sell it. If you can change it, change it. If you can't change it, let it go, let it go, let it go.
That's interesting. So personal responsibility is a big thing for me. I think about that a lot, largely in the same context that you write in, which is, okay, I'm trying to accomplish something, whether it's your mission to leave things better than you found it,
sure,
or otherwise, just focusing on not making excuses, on looking at, okay, I can't control who my boss hires, but if I look at myself as a salesperson, and them, the customer, and I can try to sell something, then I really can maintain control of as much of my world as possible.
Exactly.
Is that something that you think a lot about? Like if you break the world into a percentage, 100% obviously, put into two categories. Can make dramatic change rapidly, cannot make dramatic change rapidly. What percent?
Answer, I have no idea.
Not even a gut?
Not much, because the reality, I have a degree in math, so I'm always hesitant to throw out numbers when I don't know what I'm talking about. The reality is I only work with people that care.
Right.
Now, if I thought this guy had an attitude problem, in about 10 minutes, what would I say to him?
Right.
Goodbye. So I don't try to save the unsavable.
And is there some sort of filtration point that happens before you get to that level? Or do you reject a lot of people?
Oh, I reject a lot of people. No, I reject a lot of people, and I get requests for coaching every day. So
walk me through that process. So I spend a lot of time focused on hiring and identifying who the right people are. So it sounds like the very success of your business hinges on picking the right people. So you actually get paid, which I love that model, by the way.
Right.
What do you look for?
Well, a few things. One, everyone I coach, the first thing is I don't get paid for spending time. Most coaches are paid for two bad measures. How much time do I spend? Bad measure.
Right.
And does my client like me? Worse measure. I don't get paid because I spend time, nor do I get paid because they like me. I get paid because I get results. So the way this works is, if I were going to coach you, I'd say, first, who are your key stakeholders? Now, if you're the CEO, the board would also have to approve. If you're not the CEO has to approve. Who are your key stakeholders? And this is average of about 18 people, say. Then I'm going to interview each of the stakeholders. You're going to get confidential feedback. You're going to pick important behavior to improve. You're going to apologize for your previous sins. You're going to involve your coworkers on a regular basis. They're publicly going to know exactly what you're working on. And you're going to follow up with them on a regular basis and follow up with me on a regular basis, and you're going to get measured twice. Now, if the person says, I don't want to do that, what do I say? That's okay.
Great.
Don't. Goodbye.
Right.
After that, everything I do is optional. I just give them ideas, which they don't have to do. I'm not there to waste time. I'm there to get results in the shortest amount of time possible.
So what tips do you have for me, somebody that's on a more everyday level, in terms of, I've got positions all throughout the organization ranging in sort of education experience and all that. So I might have somebody where it's necessarily somebody just starting their career, and so I have to assess very rapidly whether they are interesting, can learn. Right. Is there a few key questions that you'd never want to see unasked?
Well, the first thing is, ask them, do you love what you're doing? Whatever that job is, do you love that? Because that's what they're going to be doing. And if they don't love that, that's a bad sign.
Do you have distrust of people's answers?
You know, again, you have to realize the end of the day when I coach people, What matters is, do they do the work? It's not what they say to me anyway.
Right.
Anybody can say anything to me. The trick is, do they actually do the work?
What are some key components to mindset change, or just an effective mindset that people that are watching this show should adopt?
Oh, I'll give you one that they can adopt instantly. If you just do nothing but this, you're going to get a lot better in life. I went to a presentation at the National Academy of Human Resources. So they talked about the topic of employee engagement. And they made this, and these are 3 of the top HR people in the world. And they're smart people. So they talked about everything they learned about employee engagement as training programs and compensation and fairness. Then I realized 100% of the dialogue was, what can the company do to engage you? And 0% was, what can you do to engage yourself? And I'm not exaggerating. 100%,
Right.
0. Most of employee engagement. 100%, what's the company going to do to engage you? 0, what are you going to do to engage yourself? I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, these people are missing half of an equation. I fly on American Airlines, say all the time. One flight, one of the flight attendants is positive, motivated, upbeat, enthusiastic. One's negative, bitter, angry, and cynical. Now, have you been on such a flight?
Oh, yes.
Let's look at the audience. Have you all been on such a flight? We've all been on this flight, right? Well, same pay, same uniform, same employee engagement program. What's the difference? Not the outside, inside. I thought they're missing half an equation. So now I'm working with my daughter, Kelly. She's a professor at the Kellogg School of Northwestern, marketing professor. She taught me this thing called active questions, which I'm going to recommend to all your viewers.
Yeah.
Active questions that all start with, did I do my best to? Because that's the one thing we have total control over. Did I do my best? I can't blame you if I didn't do my best. Back to accountability, that's something you can't hide from.
Right.
So the 6 I recommend every day. And I do this daily question process every day. These are now my first 6. Number 1, did I do my best to set clear goals? Rather than saying, did somebody else set goals for me? Did I do my best to set my own goals? 2, did I do my best to make progress toward achieving my goals? Number 3, did I do my best to find meaning? Rather than saying, did somebody else give me meaning or create meaning, did I do my best to create meaning myself? Number 4, did I do my best to be happy? Rather than, did somebody else make me happy, did I do my best to make myself happy? Then number 5, did I do my best to build positive relationships? And then finally, did I do my best to be fully engaged? Every day, challenge yourself with those 6 questions. Great process, a great process. And we have research on this from thousands of people. If any of the viewers want to participate in the research, send me an email, Marshall with 2 L's at marshallgoldsmith.com. I'll sign them up for it. Research is amazing. 46% of the people say I got better at everything 10 days later. 75% said I got better at 4 out of 6. 4% said I got better at least 1. 6% stayed the same, and 0 point something percent get worse. Just amazing. Why every day this gets me to focus not on what I cannot change, gets me to focus on what I can change.
Yeah, guys, I strongly encourage each and every one of you to take him up on that. It is, when reading about it, just making the question active, focusing it back on yourself, it's a really big deal. Like, when I was reading that, I was really affected by that notion. One, as the guy who owns the company, I got to the position of being an owner solely focused. The mantra I used to say to myself was, if it is to be, it is up to me, right? I would repeat that over
Right.
and over and over.
Right.
And the reason I did that was I started as a copywriter, right? So the guys that are now my business partners hired me as a copywriter a very long time ago and said, hey, don't think of yourself as a copywriter. Look at the problems that we face. You can have any position in the company that you want. However, you have to become the right person for that role. And that was a super daunting challenge, but it seemed like a really incredible opportunity if it was real. So I came in and I worked really hard like a good employee. And they started getting pissed off at me.
Right.
They were always mad and yelling, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so finally one day I realized they had told me exactly what I needed to do, which is make problems go away. And here I was making the problem go away that they took the time to assess, hand to me, and tell me exactly what to do, but I hadn't taken any initiative. I hadn't asked active questions. Did I do my best today to make this problem go away, to get better at this skill, to, you know, if I were a scientist, to read more articles, like whatever the case may be. So now that I'm in this position, I fall prey to the temptation of, okay, now what do I need to do for all of them, right? And to want to, but from a really positive place. Like, honestly, I like to see other people succeed. We're not judged by our intentions, we're judged by our results. But nonetheless, my intentions are good. I want to help people. But I have a lingering sense of unease that not forcing them to look at themselves, to not give the speech that Kennedy gave and say, don't ask what Quest can do for you, but ask what you can do for Quest. I don't know. I do worry that while it feels a little icky to ask, may be exactly what they need to hear. All right, so what are some, you talk about delusions. What are some delusions that people fall prey to?
Well, let me just give you a few.
Please.
One of them is the planner bias. We assume as we journey through life that person making the plans is the same person that's implementing the plans. The planner's not hungry, staring at the chocolate cake. The doer is that hungry person staring at the chocolate cake. We assume if I understand, I will do. No, there's a big gap between I understand and I do. Life's easy to understand. It's hard to do. One of my favorites is called This is a Special Day. I'm going on that diet. Today, though, is a Super Bowl, you see, special day, or my birthday, or my mother's birthday. And the biggest reason people don't do what I teach is a dream. It's a dream I've had for years. I'm going to predict almost everybody in the audience, you all have had this dream and probably had it for years. The dream sounds like this. I'm incredibly busy right now, given pressures of work and home and new technology that follows me everywhere in emails and voicemails and global competition. I feel about as busy as I ever have. Sometimes I feel overcommitted. I don't tell others this, but every now and again my life's a little out of control. Yet, you know, I'm working on some very unique and special challenges right now, and I think the worst of this is going to be over in 3 or 4 months. And after that, I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks and get organized and spend some time with the family and begin my new Healthy Life program. And after that, everything's going to be different and it won't be crazy anymore. Have you ever had a dream that resembles that dream?
Oh, sure.
Well, I always tell people there's not going to be 2 or 3 weeks. Sanity's not going to kick in. Well, there's outside chance tomorrow is going to be even crazier than today. Now, when I work with people that work in a big company, I say, now, let's imagine Joe there who works in a big company. You overachieve on every goal by 25% this year. Yeah. Then I say, what are the odds a big boss going to come back next year and say, Joe, take a break. You know, you're working too hard. Let's lower the goals. No, it's always going to be crazy. Now, in your case, so it's different. Let's imagine that he overachieved on every one of his goals this year by 25%. Let's hear it for this man. 25% above all targets. What are the odds you're going to look at yourself next year and say, take a break? Lower the goals. Yeah. No, it's not going to change. And it doesn't matter if you're the owner, you're the CEO, or you're the employee. At the end of the day, it's always going to be crazy. The challenge is, here we are now. I just got to deal with now. And realize if I don't make a commitment, I like your focus on accountability to do it, it's not going to happen. I can't wait till next week. The hardest question on accountability has 4 qualities. 1, you write the question. Why? You can't blame the idiot that wrote the question. 2, you know the answer. You can't say you don't know how to do it. Number 3, you know it's important. And number 4, all you have to do to make high scores try. Why is that hard? Nobody to blame. Again, there are schools of thought in life. As we journey through life, one school is that it's all about me. This is called the school of internal control. The opposite is the B.F. Skinner school, which means I have no internal control. It's all triggers from the environment, and the environment totally is control of everything. In my book, Triggers, I talk about what I consider to be somewhere in between, that part of life, yes, I can control. On the other hand, part of life is controlling me. I'm not a god. So I think we can make a difference in the world, yet at the same time, the world is creating us.
Do people come to you and say that they're in a toxic environment a lot?
Sometimes.
What's your advice to people like that?
Well, a couple things. 1, can you leave? If you can leave, leave. And if you can't leave, that's okay. Then you learn how to make peace with it and work around it and make the biggest positive difference you can make. One of my favorite chapters in the book Triggers is 1 question. Before you deal with any topic, breathe, smile. Am I willing at this time to make the investment required to make a positive difference on this topic? The answer is yes, go for it.
Right.
The answer is no. Our mission is to make a positive difference, not to prove we're smart.
That's a really powerful stop and assess mantra, if we want to
yeah.
use that word. I really, really like that. So you do the stop, breathe, let it go thing a lot. If you watch your talks, you see it all the time.
I try. It's not like I'm not holding myself up as a role model here. One of my questions every day is, what % of yesterday were you conscious?
Define that for me.
I'm really aware of what's going on around me, mindful. You know what I mean.
Like true mindfulness, as
something like
it
that.
would be used
I
in
guess
meditation.
my average is maybe 45%, and I'm probably exaggerating at that. Probably don't even deserve that. A lot of life I'm
That would be
unconscious.
amazing.
Well,
even if that's an exaggeration or
I
something.
said I probably don't deserve 45. We have something called the monkey mind. Our monkey mind is, our mind is in many ways like a monkey swinging through the vines in the jungle. You know, ding, 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 going from just thing to thing. And the internet provides amphetamines for the monkey mind. You know, you ever go online, you're going to look up something that's going to take 3 minutes. 3 hours later, you're still online. You don't know why you went online in the first place. Monkey mind. And it's very hard to kind of calm down the monkey mind.
Do you have concrete techniques for calming the monkey mind?
Yeah, the more you measure things, the less likely you are to have this happen. And also, the more we admit we need help and structure. When you get over that macho, I can do everything on my own nonsense, life is better. So if you know, look, I'm going to go online. Let's look at my history here. I'm going to set the alarm clock off. So in 5 minutes, this alarm clock's going to go off, and I'm not going to be online anymore. You know, you might say that sounds childish. Well, if you don't do it, guess what?
Talk to me a little bit more about mindset. Mindset is certainly it's the biggest focus of my life for sure. It's the thing that I'll attribute to any success that I've had has been a shift in mindset. So calming the monkey mind, obviously very powerful. What are other things that
Let me give you another one. Get in the habit of asking a question. How can I be a better? How can I be a better boss, friend, all that? Now, how can I be a better? You agree that's important?
That's great.
Should you agree we should ask our customers how we can be better? Would you agree?
Definitely.
Definitely. Listen.
Definitely.
Get better.
Yes.
Now your wife is here.
Yes.
You've been asking her how you can be a better husband.
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's good because most people don't.
That's something that we take really seriously. As two people that got together when we were kids, wildly undereducated, did not know what we were doing, clipping coupons, trying to make ends meet, but having big visions, but understanding that the secret was to do action behind the things that you actually want to make come into the universe. That's been our primary focus.
You would be shocked how few people do that.
I am eternally shocked how few people do that. The reason that you're here today is because I believe my skill set is unprepared to meet the challenge of helping people do all of these things, and I'm so desperate to learn that I bring people on like you.
That's a great idea.
So let's marry the monkey mind and people's obsession over the past. How do you break people free of that? Somebody who's really stuck on the past, which I know a lot of people are.
Well, I don't do therapy at all. So my whole coaching is not therapy. I don't deal with the past. I just say, wherever you are, you are. And really, we could spend hours analyzing why you're there. But it's often easier to change than it is to figure out why you have the problem in the first place. So what I teach people is, they do get feedback about the past, but that just is a baseline. After that, it's all feed forward. You don't ask for ideas for the past. You know, I'll do it like a role play. So let's say I'm the person who's being coached. Now, Marshall has just given me feedback from these 18 people, and you're my coworker. Shake hands. I'd say, you know, Mr. Coworker, we're going through this feedback process, and the first thing I want to say is thank you very much for participating. I don't know who said what. Many people took the time to help me. I just want to say how grateful I am. Second, a lot of my feedback is positive, ethical, dedicated, hardworking, caring about the company and customers, and integrity, and gets results. These are important values to me. I hope it's score high, and they did. I want to say how grateful I am. Then don't say but. And there's something I want to improve. For example, in the past, I've not been a positive and open-minded listener. If I haven't listened to you or others in the past, I'm sorry. Please accept my apologies. There's no excuse. I can't change the past. So I'm not going to ask you for more feedback about that. Give me ideas for the future. I'd have ideas to help me be a positive and open-minded listener in the future. What would they be? And whatever you say, I sit there, shut up, take notes, and I say thank you. I don't judge or critique. I never promise to do everything. leadership's not a popularity contest. I can't promise to do everything. I say, I can't promise to do everything you and everybody say. I can promise to listen to the ideas and do what I can. I can't change the past, I can't change the future, and I can't get better at everything. I get better at one thing. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to help me. And then I follow up with you on a regular basis, getting consistent ideas, and then measure improvement. And most of what my coaching clients learn, you see, this is why it's transferable. They don't learn it from me. 90+% of what they learn, they don't learn from me. I'm a facilitator. I help them learn from everyone around them. And they learn far more from everyone around them than they learn from me.
How do you pick the one thing? Do you just encourage people to identify
I give
what's
people
most
feedback.
important?
So I interview everyone around you and just ask them, what's he do well? What's he need to do better? Imagine you're a mentor, coach, or advisor to him. What advice would you have? Mm-hmm. What situations bring out the best in him? Which bring out the worst? And then I write a report and give it to you, and you get to work.
So the mission statement of the show is to get people out of the matrix. Now what that means to me is I have seen in myself and others that a mindset of limitation, of scarcity, of a fixed mindset, as Carol Dweck would call it, right?
Right.
That holds people back in the most profound and terrifying way. But one small, albeit very important, and again, easy to understand, difficult to do, to switch over into a growth mindset and recognize that your identity shouldn't be tied to some permanent state of things. Your intelligence and your talents are not fixed. They are things that you can adapt and build over time, and because they are something that you can grow, it shouldn't be a knock to your self-esteem to hear criticism, right? And once you open yourself up to that and you really look at, hey, these are things that I can change. So the promise of the show is that I'm going to bring people like you, I'm going to aggregate this information and then give it to people in a super usable fashion. So one of the things that's useful for me that I'm getting the sense that you deal with maybe a slightly different way is somebody gets consistent feedback, right? That says this is a real thing for you, but they're not able to hear it. They still have a fixed mindset. It's attacking their ego in some way. If you have techniques that allow people that have a fixed mindset to truly stop fighting for dumb ideas. The reason I think people usually fight for dumb ideas or their own ideas is simply because they built their self-esteem around being right, which does feel good.
Sure.
So if you've got techniques to take people that are there, they're stuck there, and for whatever reason haven't been able to get out, to get them out, man, I am all ears.
Well, that's the title of the book. What got you here won't get you there. And I think the key to that is just get in the habit on a regular basis of asking for input. To me, a lot of life is that daily, day-to-day work, ongoing asking for input, listening, follow-up. I measure things. And when you measure things, you get a lot more realistic.
So how do you measure it? In the case of I ask for feedback.
Well, let's go back to your example. Let's imagine you need to be a better listener. Fine. Then what we would do is we just say, measure some items about listening, genuinely listens to others, or strives to see the value of different opinions. And then here are these 18 people. And we get the feedback in the beginning, so we say, yeah, this is not so good. And they say, I'm going to get better. And then we ask them. And then we do plus minus, how much better, much worse, follow up. We measure and you get better.
Who determines the plus minus on that?
They do.
Themselves.
Not you or me. It's everyone around you.
Got it.
So I don't get paid because I think you're better. I don't get paid because you think you're better. I get paid when 18 people think you're better.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's all about those
18
reviews
people
that get handed in.
Exactly.
Okay. And what if, so walk me through the process. You believe in this guy, he's passed your test, but you're getting the feedback and it's not moving in the right direction. What do you do at that point?
I have never seen a person take the process seriously and do what I said who didn't get better.
Because they just hear that feedback and the immediate changes.
And over. But also cognitive dissonance. I mean, you're so far out there. You've already told everybody what you want to improve. You're a competitive guy. You know, you've already told people what you want to improve. You're very sincere about it. You're trying. You listen. Your odds on not getting better are close to zero. You'll get better.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I've got a study called Leadership as a Contact Sport. Anybody can send me an email. I'll send them a copy of it. 86,000 people from 8 major companies around the world. This stuff always works.
It's incredible. Why do you consider leadership a contact sport?
Well, to me, when I say leadership is contact sport, it's about the way you touch with other people. And a common misconception of coaching is if you need to have a better relationship with Mary, that the way you get a better relationship with Mary is I'm your coach and I talk to you about it. I don't believe that. Let's say you need to be a better listener. I can give you generic advice on how to be a good listener. That's nice, but it may or may not fit what you need. The key is being a good listener with Mary. And the best person can help you with that is Mary. It's not me. So my job is to help you learn from Mary.
Makes sense. So is the measuring process, is there anything beyond the feedback that you get from people? Is there other things that you measure? Because I totally buy into the concept of you can't measure it, you can't improve it.
Just overall effectiveness as a leader.
And
So-
it's, I'm sure these are on your website, it's a 1 to 10 score?
Yeah, -5 to +5 typically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's simple. My stuff's all very, I don't do anything that's not conceptually simple. Now I work with very smart people. They're very busy people. I don't give them complicated or, complex stuff to do. They don't have time anyway. So if I gave them really highly time-consuming, complex things, they're not going to do it anyway. I find if I keep it very simple and positive and focused, dramatically increase the odds they're actually going to do it. So the thing that's different about what I do, I'm in the real change measured over time business, which is a very different business than conceptual theory business.
So what are some concrete steps that people should take right now today if they don't know your work to, one, recognize the delusions that they have?
Okay.
Two, what's the first step in getting feedback if there's no formal program? And then three, once they get the feedback, what should they be doing to get some help to implement the changes?
Well, I'm going to answer that in 2 dimensions.
Okay.
One dimension is interpersonal relationships, and then 2 is individual effectiveness. 2 kind of different questions.
Sure.
So the first one, interpersonal relationships, partner, friend, etc. I strongly suggest if you're in any leadership role to get confidential feedback from everyone around you. And you could either do this by hiring a person to do it, you can have an internal HR person do it, somehow get feedback though, because you can't get better at something until you know what the something you want to get better at is, and I wouldn't make that up. Like you said, I'd get the input from them. Then after that, do what I just told you. You know, talk to people, follow up, develop a plan. All my stuff's online. You can look at all these tapes, all the articles are online. Then the second thing I recommend is, back to the daily question process, write your own questions. So you write your own questions and then get out an Excel spreadsheet, 7 boxes across, 1 for every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every day fill out the spreadsheet, and at the end of the week you get a report card. I always warn people, the report card at the end of the week is not going to be quite as pretty as that corporate values plaque you got stuck at the wall.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for years. It's hard. I don't know about you, but I have one amazing skill. I am amazed at my skill on a daily basis to screw something up. I mean, every day I screw something up. I keep thinking I'm going to slide through a few days, not screw something up.
Right. Doesn't happen.
Not yet. How about you all? Any of you impress yourself on a daily basis? The ability to screw something up pretty much every day. I'm good at that. It's an amazing skill. Why this is hard is every day you get to look at it. By the way, I wouldn't exaggerate. I don't have the courage to do this by myself.
Yeah, it's really
It
interesting.
takes courage. Half the people that start the daily question process quit within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's tough. Give it a try. You think it's easy. I can tell you it's not easy at all. It's not easy for me to do, and I
Why
wrote
do you
the
think
book.
people stop doing it? Is it because they don't like the answer every day and so it starts to make them
Painful.
feel bad?
It's painful. I mean, what happens is, when people make excuses, I got bored. This takes 2 minutes a day. How bored did you get?
Right.
I didn't have time. Oh, please. You had time. It's
So
hard.
What makes it painful?
Well, at the end of the day, you look back on your life and said, I said I wanted to be in shape. How come I didn't work out for the last week? I said I wanted to be a good person. Why did I make those nasty comments about everybody? I said I wanted to write a book. Why didn't I write? Well, back to your thing about accountability. Accountability is real easy to talk. Accountability is real hard to live. And this is not about talk. This is about live. Live is tough. Talk is easy. Live is really tough. And then day to day to day, do I actually do this stuff? It's really hard.
All right. Tell me what you would say is the definition of a life well lived.
Well, I listened to one of your other talks, and somebody talked about that. I do these programs in my house with retiring CEOs. This is really interesting. What are you going to do now, club? First thing I tell them is, that playing crappy golf with old men at the country club and eating chicken salad sandwiches while discussing gallbladder surgery every day It might not be quite as dramatic as you think. You know, that may not be too good. So what matters? Take care of your health. And as one of your people said this, money matters only to 75,000. I read it from your own show. 75,000. You're after that, money is not going to make you happier. Having good relationships with people you love is very important. And then the only other things that matter are happiness and meaning. Am I doing what makes me happy, and am I doing what's meaningful to me? And you can say achievement or contribution, however you want to define that for you, is what it is. But you need to be feeling like, I love the process of what I'm doing. I'm not a victim or a martyr. I like doing this stuff. It makes me happy. And two, it's meaningful for me. And if the answer is those questions is yes, you just won. It doesn't have to be meaningful for the rest of the world. At the end of the day, you gotta look in the mirror. It's work for me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Marshall, thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Guys, it's not often that you meet somebody in real time that can look into your soul, know absolutely nothing about you, and yet still be able to offer you something that is potent and real and that you can put into effect in your own life. If you haven't already, you need to look this man up. You can go directly to his website,
www.marshallgoldsmith.com with 2 L's.
and he's active on Twitter, he's active on Facebook, he's put out over 300 articles and videos. This man is a wealth of content. Every piece that he has put out will move you forward. I can't encourage you guys enough to go and watch that stuff. His, like I said in the intro, what makes him so special is he's focused on human behavior, what you can change, what you can control. The changes that if you make, they will move you forward. It's absolutely incredible. There's no BS in any of the stuff that he does. All right, if you're not already following us, be sure to subscribe. This is a weekly show. You can check us out on Twitter at Inside Quest. You can check me out at Tom Bilyeu. It's spelled weird, so you're gonna have to check the show notes. But guys, until next time, man, be legendary, my friends. Take care. Thank you one more time. What an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.